trip started in Kathmandu. We visited the Buddhist stupa at Bodnas. After a short bus ride, we arrived at Pashupatinath, the Hindu cremation site. The next day we'd start our trip, going up the Burhi Gandaki, passing through Philam, continuing up the valley, round the flanks of Manaslu, over the Larkya Pass, a steep descent down the other side to Bimtang, then continued down the valley until we joined up with the Arughat Circuit, followed down the Marsiangdi Kola to Tal, and after a couple of days we arrived at the end of the trek at Bessie Shah.
Why Manaslu? Well, it just sounded good on the website, I guess.
Yeah.
The little spiel that they put on the websites sold it. And then I got a call and was told that the Annapurna trek was full of younger people and that I perhaps might be more interested to trek with the younger people.
Well, you hit the jackpot with the older people on this trip, that's for sure.
But yeah, I think I made the right decision.
Okay, we've arrived at Arughat Bazaar. Camp all set up after a long day in the bus. And quite a lot of tents here.
And we've also managed quite a good amount of humour, which has eased the pain somewhat. So yeah, I think we've gelled quite well. Yeah.
The first day took us further up the Burhi Gandaki to our campsite at Liding. The morning of the first day, just after breakfast.
I thought this is just going to be terrible. I don't think I'm going to have anything in common with these people. Yeah. He's a nutter. She looks a bit strange. Not too sure about that one. But yeah, at the end of it, we all came for the same purpose. So obviously we have a shared interest, and it's all worked out really well. And the people were all normal.
Arughat Bazaar. In the morning on day one. Familiar sound.
I remember my last trip I did. After the trip, you miss everyone for a little while. And I expect the same thing. You're so close for so long and so intimate that when it's all over for about a week, you sort of, you miss your companions.
About 10:40 or so now. Very warm day. This is the lunch spot on day one. It's a nice warm day and they give us a nice sunny spot to have our lunch. In the afternoon of day one, very hot. And the buffalo at the back must be a baby because it's trying to suckle. He doesn't want me to film her baby.
Well, scenically it's one of the nicest, definitely. We did have a few other trekkers around, which maybe would have been better without, especially the French ones. Well, some of the French ones anyway.
All except one, if you don't mind.
But the scenery, especially going up, though, that gorge country, walking through the forests, it was as good, if not better, than anything I've done before.
Well, the end of day one's walking. Getting a bit dark now. What a nice spot. Another day following up the Burigandaki. First thing in the morning on the second day. Another warm day.
I rolled up, I was the second last person to get to the table at the Radisson, and I thought, holy shit, this is going to be terrible. And I was looking at the group next to us, they were much younger, our group was much older, and I thought I've made a big boo-boo here.
Yeah.
But anyway, of course I didn't dwell on that, and look, I've had a wonderful time with everyone. I guess it just teaches you to respect people for who they are, because everyone deserves respect. And you know, beyond that, I've had a great time with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, in the morning on day two. Not making much in the way of altitude, but we're going along. After lunch, a nice little bridge to cross.
When I actually met everyone at the Radisson, it was kind of like, right, so these are the people, and I guess it's always a bit different to what you think when you actually see the people. I sort of had that feeling of like, right, but everyone has been great. Like everyone's got along really well. Different people have got different personalities that just, you know, James and Tony and Bree, and the conversation goes round and round, and you know, there's been some great laughs.
Mechucola in the distance there.
Every now and then I decide maybe I'm getting a bit fat here, so I need to lose a bit of weight. And I got a choice between go on another trek or catch dysentery. And I decided the trek would probably be the better option.
Wow.
Here I am now.
Wow.
The reason for doing this trek is because it's remote. I didn't want to do something where there's lots of people about. It's a bit built up beginning and end.
Yeah, the middle part.
But the high uncomfortable part was you can see why there's no one there, because it's high and uncomfortable.
The end of day two. Gaining a bit more height, we continued up the valley. Our campsite was down there somewhere. This is the first rest stop And day 3, it's about 9 o'clock. Getting warm already. Nice in this shady spot. Bit of a landslide here. And it's very hot.
I've been trekking around the world in various mountainous places, and the best mountains have always been Nepal, but they're also the hardest, and I'm getting a bit old for it these days, and I thought just one more trek to the high mountains, so this was it. I thought it filled in a gap in the line of the Himalaya where I haven't actually been, and swan song for the high pass.
So your last high trek.
That's right. Definitely.
Okay.
I think.
After lunch now. And this is looking back towards the lunch spot. In a bit of shade now, although it's very hot. Nice campsite by the river where we could all have a wash.
It was a very good group to travel with, because very often there'll be at least 1 or 2 people that are really annoying. But never really happened on this trip.
Yeah. Why is that, do you think?
No idea.
That's the way we're heading tomorrow. Starting to gain some altitude now, eventually arriving at the high village of Phillum. It's early in the morning. We'll start at day 4. A long tour packing up for the porters.
Well, being the only non-Australian, so one thing that struck me is how incredibly sick you all seem to be. I've never known so many people dropping like flies, so many pills being taken, so many bowls being sucked up. And
the coughing chorus.
What's going on
in the morning?
Beginning of day 4, heading up the valley.
Yeah, I think not long after the pass, when we'd gone up and down a bit again, we got to the top of the steep bit where you could see the way down. And I was so relieved to see that. At last we can go down and I might feel better.
Looking back over the way we've come up. This is Jagat, where we're having our passes checked. Looks like we're moving on actually.
Well, 30 years ago I came walking in the Himalayas. I did part of the Manaslu Circuit, and it was a fantastic experience, and I've thought about it ever since, and this was the opportunity to come, and you know, it was children had grown up, you know, yeah, it was a great opportunity, and I saw it, and saw the Manaslu Circuit, you know, advertised as something a bit more remote, someone could get away from a lot of the other people, and that was really my motivation. Well, my view is, the thing I remembered was the experience of looking up, you know, getting up in the morning, looking up at the mountains and seeing these fantastic white peaks around you, and just being, you know, being astonished by the grandeur of the whole thing. And yeah, and it happened again.
Another day slowly rising up to Ding.
This is decamping at the beginning of day 5. We camped at the end of day 4. Film. Just looking back on film. So we camped last night. We've been going about half an hour now. Another great day. Just looking back down the valley. Early on the morning of day 5. We're out through the gorge there.
You come on a trip like this, and 13 people, you know, you'd expect there to be somebody you don't like, but I'm amazed that everyone was great. We all got on well together. You know, we all talked to each other. You know, we're able to talk to each other, then also separate yourself and just walk alone or whatever. And it was all very comfortable. But most of all, I think I haven't laughed this much for a long time. There were some really cackable moments. It was very light and pleasant and enjoyable. Thank you, James. Thank you. And if this makes it onto the CD, you'll be in deep shit, mate.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you.
About an hour off lunch, I reckon now. It's about 11 o'clock. We're rounded the corner and heading upstream still. This is lunch on day 5. Nice shady spot. Camp at the end of day 5 in the washing water. Well, the one that really sticks in my mind is with a certain person called Stuart, and who seems to be a dog lover. And we had the incident with the puppies, and that was okay. And then a few days later, there was another dog there, and Stuart went up and patted the thing, and the dog thought, oh, somebody loves me, I'll have to love him back. And he jumped up on his leg, and he sincerely wanted Stuart to have his puppies. I'm sure that was what.
And how did Stuart respond to that?
Well, he seemed to quite enjoy it, but the dog would not lay off, and in the end he had to back away and assert his manhood.
Still following the Buigandaki.
Weather-wise, we are lucky. The weather was lucky this time. And I've been to this Manaslu trek plenty of times. This is the best weather I have got.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, every one of you were in good shape. You all done your effort.
it's been a lifetime dream for me as a child. I opened up a book and seen pictures and always wanted to come to Nepal. Almost a part of me needed to come here for bigger and more mysterious things than we may never know. I'll be coming back, no question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm in love with the place. I have loved every single moment, even the tough moments when I've been sick and altitude has really worn you out and it's been cold, but we've been so well looked after and I have loved every single moment.
Camp at the end of day 6. Today we crossed the 3,000 metre line. Morning of day 7, been going about an hour. Our first rest stop is coming up from down there. Continuing on, we've got 2,800 metres now. Still going up. I think this is where we're headed. Now at least.
Oh, lovely. Now you won't get sunburned. Oh, sunburn's not getting right there.
Looking ahead still, the morning of day 7. Not quite at 3,000 metres, but pretty close.
There was the one moment for me was we'd walked up. I can't remember the name of the town. Was it Laogan or Kalgan where we stopped in? Where we walked up the hill and we pitched camp at the top of the valley above the town, and there was the monastery up on the hill. But as we'd come up, the weather had got worse and it started snowing and it was cloudy. We couldn't really see anything around you. You had no real idea of where you were and what was around you. But then to get up in the morning, and I just got out of my tent, sort of stood up, turned round, and it was just an astonishing sort of vista there, and with Manaslu and stuff like that. And I actually just laughed out loud because it was so brilliant.
Making camp at the end of day 7. This will be a lunch camp.
The thing with this trek, it's been the weather. It's been just so good all the time that the one afternoon we had where it was cloudy and snow, that really sticks in my mind. And we went up to the monastery and there was clouds swirling around and there were these little Buddhist monkettes running around and screaming and shouting and laughing. I think that's the moment for me.
Why is that? That was a human touch?
Yeah, it was. But it was the whole atmosphere, with the kids and all those crows that came flying out of the clouds. It was almost sort of mystical, and the mist swirling around. You couldn't actually see the camp from up there until it parted at one point. You could see the tents way down below.
Yeah.
Great moment. And good weather's nice, but I think it's nice to have a contrast with some, not torrential rain, but a little bit of cloud and mist and snow like that.
There's your logo on. further up the river to Kimokaka, where we had 2 nights. Morning of day 8, cold night, slight frost, picking up.
Behind we have got a Himalchuli and Peak 29. So that's Latung. And I was just in the morning, I want to keep you all it together to show the name of the mountain where we are going. That's Manaslu, okay? I was giving Peak 29 because I want to give you everyone together. So this is, we are behind the summit. So we go from the other side. Standing.
That's the monastery we went up to yesterday, in the mists.
So Manaslu is one until you get to the top. Yeah. Okay, and beside it, Peak 29? No.
The most special moments were the 4 days at altitude, probably the 3 days before Larkya Pass, when you came out of your tent somewhere between 12 o'clock and dawn and you looked up, and whether there was a moon or no moon, you were surrounded on all 4 sides by pristine, fondant, icing, snow-covered mountains, and the stars were just like diamonds.
Yes.
And the clarity and the stillness and the coldness was just beautiful.
The start of day 8, and so far all we've been doing is going down.
I've never travelled in a group like this with people that I've never met before. I wasn't concerned about it, and I knew that everyone would be cool, because anyone who would want to do something like this would have to be cool. And I think we've had a great diverse range of characters, and everyone's had their bit to add. And I think when somebody has gone down, everybody's really supported and been concerned.
Top of quite a high climb, up at 3.5 now. And inside we have fearsome looking creatures.
The standout moment was coming up through the Yak Valley to that little village at the top of the rise there, and to be surrounded by the mountains, and that's when I realised we're in the Himalayas. It was absolutely stunning, fantastic. And Money and all the boys, they made it an exceptional experience, as you all did too.
Mid-morning on day 8.
The day that we went above Yak Pass was absolutely one of the best days of my life.
The Himalayas.
We came to this clearing. I'd never seen something so majestic before in my life. There was a kind of remote and kind of vacant village, and there was towering ice-capped mountains on every side, and it was just utterly breathtaking for me. And it was something that I'd never experienced before, and I felt great, really great joy and great satisfaction in having got there, and great kind of excitement about where we were going to go from there.
Brushing my teeth late at night when I'm looking up and being surrounded by snow peaks, and thinking this will be probably the only time in my life I'll see this image, be surrounded by these peaks, and that was magic. Yeah, I mean it's hard to say what you take away from a trip like, but I think, well, it's something to brag about next time, isn't it?
ahead. This is Shayela.
And really I wanted to kind of begin a new phase of my life, I guess, where I got a little bit fit, and I guess I respected my body more than I had in the past. I think I've probably achieved that. I was a little bit scared at first. I remember at the start, or one of the first couple of days, I was asking all the other people about their preparation, and Carleen was a marathon runner, and you know, a few people had done 4 or 5 days a week, 45 minutes exercise. So I was a little bit nervous at first, but look, I found that we didn't walk too quickly. I thought we were kind of courteous to everyone. Some people went a bit faster, some people didn't. So all in all, I think I was probably tested physically as much as anyone else was.
I think this is something that everyone's going to know. Want to know, did you get rid of the pot?
I did get rid of the pot. I wasn't one of the smokers of the pot.
No, didn't know get the pot belly.
Oh, did I get
the pot belly? Is it there, or is it
I'll
gone?
give you one really quick look. Unfortunately, it's still there. But I think it may have been shaved. So we got a little bit of love off.
This is one moment that really made me feel a bit fuzzy. I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning and needed to do a wee. And this is when we were camping just below the base camp, and it was freezing cold, and I had my head torch on and everything was frozen. I get out of the tent, and everywhere my head torch went, it was just sparkling. The tent was all frozen, it was sparkling. The ground was all sparkling. The skies were sparkling with stars, and then you could see these huge mountains, and I just felt like I was in this fairyland.
We're on the rest day now, day 9 I think it is. And the rest day involves a walk up to Manaslu lower base camp. And that's Manaslu up there. This is our first rest spot. Further on the rest day, that's our camp. So hard going for me. Come quite a long way up. Not further to go though.
Can't believe it. That's just incredible. Thank you, Bunny.
I wanted to have a relaxing holiday.
Okay.
And not terribly good at lying on a beach, so I thought, you know, a few weeks walking would be a nice way to kind of chill out and relax. And I do quite enjoy when you're walking along, you've got time to think about things and zone out and whatever. And I chose Nepal because I was interested in seeing the Himalayas, really, you know, big mountains, you know, impressive kind of thing. I've always wanted to see them and thought it was a good opportunity. And then I picked Manaslu because it's a bit more off the beaten track and less high altitude. I didn't want to just do all high altitude stuff. Like I wanted a bit more variety, and so it's good because you get to start low and then move up. So you see lots of different vegetation, and then you know, different types of people and lifestyles and all that kind of thing. So a bit more variation.
The village we came through yesterday. Walked all the way up there.
I feel happy myself to get friends with the clients and all. And look, in every trek the group comes some of the groups, some of the team members just comes to get away from the hustle bustle of the back country, and some comes with their domestic problem. Some comes bird watchers, some really loves mountains. So there are different character in their clients. So I have to cope with them, and at the end, when they goes back home, I'll be friends with them.
The names are never lunch. No. After our rest day, we continued up to Semdo. The morning of the 27th, we're going a little while from the camp, which is back down there. Another lovely morning, but it does tend to cloud over in the afternoons.
Probably did enjoy the day we went over the pass the most of all the days, even though it was hard.
Why did you enjoy that?
I think because I mentally, I'd kind of been firstly worried about being sick and not getting over my flu, and so not being able to continue. And then when I started to get a bit better from that, I got worried about maybe the altitude was going to get me, and I was pretty careful about walking at the back and walking really slowly and stopping and catching my breath and all that kind of thing to try and maximise the chances of being okay at 5,000 metres. And so I think I was pretty happy when we got to that last camp at 4,500 and I didn't have a headache. I was like, yes.
This is the lunch camp at Semdo at the end of day 10. The village in the background. That's the way we head tomorrow. A walk up to the high camp. Packing up at the camp on the 28th. Our journey to Larkya, the foot of the pass. Another really lovely morning. This is looking back, not the way we're going, it's the way we've come past.
My whole goal for coming was really just to see the Himalayas, see some of the, 7,000, 8,000 metre mountains and have a nice holiday. And apart from being dreadfully sick for quite a lot of it, it's been really good.
Still struggling up, taking it slowly.
A few people's GPs totally recommended that once they got to 3,500 they started taking Diamox irrespective of how they felt, and it was probably proved correct. The only 3 people who didn't take it were the ones who actually got crooked once we got over 5,000 metres.
The helicopter coming to retrieve Greg and Karina after his fall.
The specific moment was Greg's fall, which was pretty awful. Because Greg was such a really lovely, genuine type of person. And I sort of missed having him on the rest of the trip.
My lasting image of Greg, I saw him cartwheeling, this isn't going to be pretty when we get there.
What did you think about how the boys managed the incident?
They did an outstanding job. Yeah, tremendous. Couldn't have done any better.
There was a point in time, well, there was one point when Ian went home and I wrote in my journal, I think I'll feign hypothermia so that I can go back in the helicopter and be with Ian. And then there was another part, probably the start of Larkya Pass, where I thought I really was going to have hypothermia and I would have to call the helicopter. But, you know, it was 3 or 4 days of intense cold. Yeah, I felt it. My whole body and all my bones ached with the cold. It was just awful. But that's all gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in warm,
Yeah. And pain is temporary.
Yeah.
Memories are permanent.
Yeah, it must be Larkya Petty. A bit above it at the moment, 4-4. Still quite a long way to go. And not too hard.
Not too bad at all.
Easy peasy.
Piece of cake. Or a Snickers bar.
There's our camp at Larkya Petty. The high camp. Quite a struggle for me getting here today. It's just about dinner time.
Cold. So what specifically about the cold? How will you remember the nasty coldness?
Bitter, bitter cold.
Waiting to go for the pass tomorrow. Leaving in the pre-dawn darkness, we crossed the pass and went down to Bimtang the other side. Well, this is the morning of pass day. Been going an hour or so.
Mountains are, we can't expect the warm in the mountain. That's why every time I used to say to the clients, every time in the evening they come in other mountains also, whoosh, money is cold. So I would like to say, welcome to Himalayas.
That's the way forward.
What was the hardest moment for you on the trek?
Realising I felt like death when there's still about 3 hours to go to get to the top of the pass was probably quite a tough moment. Yeah, I was ready to kill anyone who approached me. Would be a fair summary.
Didn't spot that one.
Just about the 5,000 metre mark now. Going up still. Very tough. Looking forwards. The top's just over there somewhere, hopefully. Well, that wasn't the top. Maybe this next one is. Just over 5,000 now. Oh, this is the top. Thank goodness. Yeah, hell of a climb up.
Elliot being sick at Larkya Pass. No.
Talk to us a little bit about that. What colour was the vomit?
No. I've got better memories than that.
Oh, come on, that was a good one.
Fortunately.
During the afternoon I was just too tired to get the camera out, so there's no video of it, but here are a couple of photographs. At last we started the journey downhill. The early morning pickup at Bimtang. And descend another 1,000 metres today. Morning of the 30th, coming down even further. Left the camp at Bintang. Back in the tree line.
Bonjour, ça va?
There have been a lot of French people and Germans.
The main worry about me is when you guys were very cold in the place before Larkya Pass and Samdo. Then after Greg got that accident and bit worry. Just after crossing the difficult part of the site in Stiff Hill, once we reached on the bottom, that was my goal, and I did. And that was my good memory.
Manny, thanks heaps. You've made all the difference. I would not have got over the pass or to the end of the walk without your help and looking after me and giving me lots of tablets to try and make me feel better. You really, did absolutely everything you could, and it made all the difference to my holiday in the end, not to have to go home in the helicopter.
Going further down the valley, meeting up with the Annapurna Trail and heading down that to Tull. Backing up on the 31st, getting closer to the end now, 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 days. The morning of the 31st, we're going a while now, nice easy walking. Now seem to be on a bit of a road.
Stuart's on the highway.
Skiing, slalom. It's lunchtime now on the 31st and we come down that valley and now joined up with the Marsiangdi Kola. We'll be heading down there. Something's afoot.
Whenever you do a physical challenge that you think you're going to achieve but you're just not quite sure, I think you always, it's just a little feather in your hat when you get to the end and you say, that was tough, and that part going over Larkya Pass was just a nightmare, and it was interminable and it was relentless, and my knees and everything. But at the other end you think, well, I did that, so anything else that I consider, perhaps I'll have a go at and that I can do it as well. Yeah, I think it just makes you a stronger, more rounded person. But also, I had not been to Nepal before, and now to see the Nepalese people and how friendly and accommodating and genuine and caring they are, is I think that's they say travel broadens the mind, but I think more importantly it broadens the heart.
Just looking ahead to Tull, not very far away now. Another day of descent down the Marsiangdi Kola to Sayanji. Packing up at Tull, 1st of November.
I'd certainly consider the single supplement next time, with all due respect, Ian. Bad luck, mate, that you didn't make the rest of the trip, because it really was a fabulous trip. And your misfortune was my fortune in a way, because a single tent is the absolute Taj Mahal.
Stuff starting off, leaving Tull on the 1st of November.
Coming to Nepal is a dream of lots of people's, and it was one of mine, and I was nearly going to fulfil it a few years ago and come with son and his girlfriend, and that never happened, and I'd basically given up. And then this trip just sort of came up, people told me about it, and I thought it sounds like a good idea, and it was. What I really wanted to see was, I knew I wanted to see mountains, and you can always see mountains, but I'd always seen pictures of villages, either perched high up on hills or way down in valleys, and that's just something you can't see in many places around the world. And there was that diversity of scenery, not just the mountains, but everything else that goes with it.
Yeah. Trekking with kids. I know, I went. I flew past him.
All of us, I said, look at the kids. Look at all this.
Oh, good on you.
As Doctor said, everyone's views were confirmed.
Another downhill walk that did include one climb. There we are, on the penultimate day, 2nd of November, heading to Bhulbhule. Back through rice paddies again. Further on the morning of the 2nd. We're on the old trail. On the other side of the valley they're building this road. Fair bit of traffic on it. The last day's walking was mainly on road to Bessichar. Well, this is the last day's walking. We're packing up at the campsite.
It's always fascinating to see how they live, really, because we have been so protected and so well looked after that to see how the real people live in this country is kind of a little bit difficult. But that's what struck me the most, was their generosity and their pride in their culture and their pure honesty and just completely sharing their life with us for their joy, our joy, nothing else. There's no ulterior motive. And like just coming walking down the street today with Meredith and this, just being invited to sit down and watch this game and to play this game. They gave us chairs, they gave us stools, and they were just happy for us to be there. And it was just, it's that raw innocence, I think, that really makes things really special.
End of the trek to Bessichar. Are you tired?
I'm tired and satisfied. I can walk no more.
We're sorting out the money here. Money sorting the money.
Where's the bag? Are you happy with the number?
Taking your drinks. Just, while you're sitting there drinking your drinks.
There's always one.
It's like you drink all the time, isn't it?
Oh, one beer for later on. I think we're going to get a bit of breathing up shortly. From the Barber Wall.
Yeah.
Shouting murder.
The barber went to the girls and said something about, well, it's fun here.
Thank you for all great food all trip. Thank you very much. Great food.
Mito.
A extended journey back.
I'd like to say one very, very quick thing.
Can't reverse these.
I've been on holidays for 8 months, and I think this is certainly one of the best trips that I've ever had in my entire life. The thing that I'm most proud of is I'm the only man to take the purse across Larkya Pass.
And the purse is?
The purse is...
Your silly little bag.
a silly little handbag that everyone ridiculed me about. For months and months and months. And I must say, I think the one thing that I may have taught all you wonderful people is that the purse wins.
I think the reason why you got away with it is because the weather was so good.
No, there's time.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that.
There's a bit of time. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep us from you. I just called to say, turn your back. I just called to say, turn your back. I just called to say, turn your back. And we mean it from the bottom of our heart. Wake me up before you zoom zoom, 'cause I got an appointment with the boom boom. So wake me up before you zoom zoom, 'cause Tony's tent going high.
We wish you very best of luck, and we wish you safe journey back home. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Giving of the tips.
It's been fantastic in making our trip a really, really good and enjoyable experience. But thank you very much for everything you've done. You've been fantastic. Thank you.
Last night by candlelight.
We're all looking devastatingly handsome. Pretty funny.
Don't you do it when you come back?
Very, very rude.
What?
That was very rude.
What was?
That burp you just did.
Where's Elliot? Wasn't me.
Doctor, was it you?
Definitely came from that direction.
Definitely came from Big Tiny.
No. It's come to that time where all of the other Sherpas and the guides and the Siddha, they've all left us and we've just got money left. And so we really wish to thank you for giving us such a great time, such a great trip. And me personally, having known you for 14 years, but only actually really knowing you for 6 weeks, I think I have found you the most calm and sensible guide that has ever led a trek that I've been on. So I'd like to thank you for all of us for making this a riot of a trek. We've had a terrific time playing cards, climbing over passes and washing in cold water and all the rest of it. So here's just a little bit to help you on your way.
Thank you very much, Marty. Thank you. The money. Cheers, the money. Here's the money. Cheers. Top track leader.
Bye.